What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, as far as the market's going, I just want to say that there's not really much going on, right? I talked about how there might be a small decline coming on SPY and the QQQ, especially as we have this gap down here to fill for, the pre-market session. But if anything, it's not really much of a move, right? It's not really much of a downside move. It's just a slight dip. And overall, we're going to see a lot of chop, at least for now. And I think that this chop is going to continue for a couple of hours until we get to the big FOMC decisions. So at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the interest rate decision coming out. There's about a 99% chance the Fed's going to give us a 25 basis point cut. And then at 2:30 p.m., we have the Fed conference. That's when Jerome Powell will be giving his speech and then answering lots of questions. So I think that the market's declining just a little bit, but for the most part, there's going to be more chop. And then we're waiting for that 2 p.m. period. When Jerome Powell starts speaking, we're going to be breaking all-time highs for a big rally if we could break past the 690 and continue to pump, or we're about to get a big rug pull and we could be dumping back below 686 to start dumping back down. If we lose support right here, this could be our top and we could be looking for a big sell-off, especially as we still have this big gap to fill way down here. So that could be a reversal, and this could start dumping back down quite a bit. It's also very possible that the market priced in everything that Jerome Powell is going to say. So once he says that we get a dump, that's another possibility. But for now, here's the best way to look at things. We're going to be very, very choppy, very sideways for the next couple of hours. And then when the big guy Jerome Powell starts speaking, that's when you expect some volatility. So I hope that's as clear as possible. That's what I think is going to likely end up happening. When it comes to President Trump, he is in South Korea. He has been meeting up with leaders over there, and there have been some trade negotiations. Around 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, President Trump will be meeting up with Xi Jinping. That's in South Korea, and the negotiations will go on for hours. So we should get some big news tomorrow morning about that. I will go over that in more detail later on. But for now, the market's just kind of like choppy. We're going to see if we get a big pump or dump with Jerome Powell. Be very patient. For the QQQ, if we break 637, we're looking for new all-time highs. If we lose 635, though, and we can't hold that, there is going to be a risk of us not only filling the gap to 633, but potentially dipping to 632. So will we continue to consolidate? I think we will consolidate for now like this. We could decline just a little bit, but then FOMC either launches us to new highs or we're about to get the big rug pull. We'll see which way we end up going. The IWM is trying to bounce a bit, but it's still technically in a range. As we hit the low 250s, we like to reject, and as we hit 248, we like to bounce. We're also range bound right here, so watch and see if we lose 248s to be more bearish, if we break 252 to be more bullish. Otherwise, we're stuck in the middle. For ES, if we lose 6,900, we're looking more bearish for a big dump. If we break 6,950, we're going to be more bullish. We're in the middle, so be patient. Expect some chop for now until we get to FOMC, then one of those levels will break. If we lose 26,200, we're looking for 26,000 flat as our support. If we break past 26,300 plus, we're looking for a big bounce. This could be dipping to 26,200, and we'll see what happens after that. On Bitcoin, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We're going to see if we get back above 112,000 or if we end up losing 111,000 as our support. So be patient and be very, very mindful of that. We have 460 as our resistance on Tesla. If we break this, we're looking for a big push higher. But if we end up losing 455, we're looking for a big dump. We're in the middle for now, so it depends on FOMC. Of course, Tesla's going to be very reactive to interest rates. One thing worth noting about Tesla, that's my warning, is that we still technically have, although we've been pumping, there's still technically some gaps below, right? You want to be very, very careful with these. But overall, we're still holding up nicely, and this does have some upside potential despite that. Nvidia, for example, pumped very nice with all the good news that's been coming up, but keep in mind there's a giant gap back down to 201 and more gaps below. So will we break out past 210 and continue to be bullish, or do we reject and start dipping? Be careful just in case. Apple has a gap to fill down here around 262, so keep that in mind. On AMD, there are also some gaps below. We have 250 is our main support area. So watch 252 is support and 262 is our resistance. We're range bound as well on AMD, just like Nvidia, but there is some risk of us retesting 252 for some downside. Coinbase is going to likely retest 347 if it doesn't hold. We're looking for 338. Amazon's kind of flat right here. Earnings comes out tomorrow, so that's going to have a bigger effect on us. There is, however, a gap at 224 in case we end up turning. Meta has a gap down here at 739. It might be tipping towards that, but it's once again in the middle for now. Google looks more bullish, favoring 272.5 to 275 as our targets, and Microsoft could be dipping back down to about 531. So be very patient. The VIX is also trying to break right here, so give this the time it needs. And anyways, that's it for my video. I thank you all so much for listening. We're very, very choppy for now, but we're going to see if the market's about to get the big rug pull, if we're about to see a big bounce. So be patient and do what you have to do, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget, at 2 p.m. we have the rate decision, and at 2:30 p.m. we have Jerome Powell giving a speech. We'll see what that leads to. For now, the market's holding up and choppy, but once all that data comes out, expect some higher volatility. All right, so thank you for listening. Anything could happen. Be very patient and be very careful with this market, and peace out.